So in this session, we are going to understand what is a material ledger. Basically, material ledger helps you to value the material in multiple currencies. As the word in itself suggests, it is a ledger of the material. It will show you the in and outs of the material, what is the value of the material, what is the quantity of the material, and how the material can be valued in multiple currencies with multiple valuation methods. Okay, so whatever the currencies you have configured in the FI area, let's say you have configured 10 as the document currency, then 30 as the group currency. In the similar manner, from FI area, that will capture and you will be able to value the material in multiple currencies at controlling level also. Okay, and there are multiple valuation methods to value the material ledger. Now, it also helps to perform actual costing. What does actual costing means? Now, S in the case of, let's say, standard price, if the price of the material is standard across the month, okay, you are using the same price, it is constant across the month, then at the end of the month, variances are calculated, okay, to know the actual price. That's called as actual costing. And material ledger is always the prerequisite. It is the prerequisite to activate it if you want to have a material master. So if you want to create a material master for raw material, material ledger activation is a prerequisite. Unless and until material ledger is productive, you cannot procure the material, you cannot send the material for consumption, you cannot use it for production. Okay, so that's what important material ledger is. So let's just go into SAP and understand how to basically make use of the material ledger. Fine. Okay. Now I'm into SAP, and what I will do is I will go into SPRO. In SPRO, I will go to controlling. Controlling, go to product cost controlling. Okay, in product cost controlling, go to actual costing of material ledger, and you need to assign currency types and define material ledger types. So I will just go to this and okay, and I will click on assign currency types and define material ledger type. So I'm going to define my new material ledger type. Okay, I will go to new entries. So once I click on new entries, I will create my material ledger type, and then it will also define individual characteristics. Individual characteristics is nothing but basically it is the currency type. What type of currencies are flowing in from FI? Okay, so material ledger type in my case is ABB. Let's say my material ledger is ABB, and I will mention it as ABB ML. So, okay, material ledger, and then I will just click on save first. I have saved this. Okay, and then I will click on this, go to define individual characteristics. So once you see our company code currency has been defined, the same is being flowing from the FI side. Okay, I will just save this for now. Okay, the data is already saved. I will go back. Now first step is done. Then assign material ledger types to valuation area. Remember, a single material ledger type can be assigned to different plants. That is a different valuation area. So I will go and assign the material ledger types to valuation areas. Once I go over here, system is a bit slow, taking a bit of time. Nonetheless, so I'm going to assign the material ledger to my valuation type. Now, what is my material ledger? Just check my valuation area is ABB2. Is it appearing over here? No. So then I will go to new entries. If it doesn't appears, go to new entries ABB2. Okay, and then your material ledger type is, just now we defined it. Okay, ABBML. Okay, here it is. And once you do this, just click on save. So we have assigned the material ledger type to the valuation area, correct? So that is done. Now you can see it is green. Great. So the material ledger type has been assigned to the plant. Now what next? Activate the material ledger for valuation areas. So you just click on this, check mark on this, and before activation, just check material ledger settings. Double click onto it. Okay, you have the plant selected, ABB2, executed. Now you will be able to see all those things. See, it shows you that the material ledger is not yet active. It is mandatory but not yet active. Okay, it is so you need to act when you once you activate it, uh, then you will be able to do any changes for the raw materials, any procurement for the raw materials, and so on. If you just scroll down, you have a lot of things. It gives you each and every details. It gives you your plant name, your trading partner. It gives you the currency details, how the translation is going to work. Okay, if I go on scrolling down, you will see the entire configuration of OBYC which we have done is also falls within this only. Okay, you see, these are the number ranges which are already defined, so you do not need to assign a separate number range to material ledger. By default, it has been defined. Okay, that's great. So we will not be going and defining new number ranges. Let me scroll down. What else is over there? Okay, Now here are the different account keys which have been used in basically in OBYC settings. So what we have used and what has been configured, you will be able to see it down over here. You can see we use the BSX. Against BSX, you use the raw material standard and raw material moving average valuation class, and you use this respective GL accounts against it. Correct. So whatever configuration you have done, the entire OBYC configuration is also present over here. Okay, so we have checked this. So once you have checked this, go back. Okay, now you activate your material ledger. Now you can activate your material ledger. Now, what is my material ledger? My valuation area. My valuation area is ABB2. Okay, within that, it is asking me the price determination. Now, what is this price determination? There are two levels over here. One is the transaction based, and another one is the single or multi-level based. In majority of the cases, okay, transaction based is used. Now, what is transaction based? Basically, whenever you choose this transaction based, you will be able to choose different types of prices. That is the standard price as well as moving average price. Okay, so that is why the transaction base is quite important. In single level, you will not be able to use it. Whatever the differences are there, that will flow to the finished goods also at single level. So it's better to use the transaction based and stick at the raw material standard and raw material moving average, and we'll click on save. Dependent indicators are being reset. Okay, it's fine. Let me just click on save. Okay, but I have not yet set the material ledger active. Okay, to set the material ledger active, first I need to just click on this, and then I will also select two price determination. As I said that we will be selecting the transaction based price determination. I will select that, and now I will click on save. Okay, it shows after activating material ledger, live data must be converted. That means now the live data of raw material, movement, the conversions, the procurement, and all that can be activated. So that's your material ledger is now active. Okay. Now, if you want, you can check the material ledger settings once again. Execute it. See, now it is mandatory has been activated. Material ledger active check mark is also activated. That means the material ledger is now active. Okay, that's great. What next is maintain number ranges. We will not go to this because I already showed you that the number ranges by default are already maintained. We just saw this few moments back. So this is what is material ledger. It is a prerequisite. Now to make material ledger productive, there is another T code which is CKM start. Okay, it is CKM start. Now this is the plant, and if I the background processing, I can just show you in test mark right now. But let's just remove the batch process and just try to execute in test run directly. So what it shows, see, now it is showing that okay, the entire material ledger is getting productive, everything is getting productive with the currency type 10 and all that stuff. Okay, now what, I do not want to make it productive. I will make it productive later on when I will create the material master. Okay, and at that point in time I will show you that how we need to proceed ahead with the material ledger. But besides the material ledger, there are few more settings. Now we have been talking all about OBYC settings, we have been talking about material ledger, raw materials, but what about the document types? Whenever the goods receipt is there, there is a document type of goods receipt, a goods issued document type is there. So we also need to check that. So we will go to OBS 7 and we will check the goods receipt document types, that is WE. Okay, you have the goods receipt document type. Within it, number range is 50. Just check if it is defined or not. For your company code, you can view it if it is there or not. So number range 50 is not there. That means if number range 50 is not there, you need to define it. Okay, so you go and define a number range 50 over here. Okay, so I will define it. So I have defined it for uh, goods receipt. Okay, the number range has been defined for goods receipt. In the similar manner, you also have for goods issued. You also need to check for that. Okay, so I will go back and I will also check for goods issued. WE for goods receipt, WA for, sorry, it's WA for goods issue. Okay, I will go to goods issue. 49 is the number range. Do you have any number range defined for 49? You can go and check it. I do not have anything for 49 over here. I just defined for 50. I will also define for 49. Okay. I have also maintained the number range for goods goods issued. Okay, goods receipt and goods issued, both the number ranges are now saved. Okay, fine. Now when we have saved it, the number range is there, correct. Now we have saved it already. Now what next we need to do? There is also another one, goods receipt, goods issued. What about invoice receipt? Invoice will also be received. So RE is the invoice receipt document type. Go to this, just check the number range 51. Okay, we do not have this in our record, so we will create it also for 51. Okay, I went over here and I have created number range for 51. And I will save this. Great. So I have also defined the number range for W goods receipt, goods issued, as well as the invoice receipt. Now what next? There is one more thing. We also need to maintain the vendor at the purchasing level. Okay. So I will show you what I need to do. I will go to BP. Within BP, I will take my supplier. Okay. I will select this. Once I select this, let me go back again. I will go to supplier maintain. I will go to purchasing. Within purchasing, now I need to enter my purchasing organization. Okay, my purchasing organization is ABB. I will select this. Once I have selected this, okay, I will click on enter, and then this is now this all needs to be filled by the person, like order currency. Let's say it is INR, payment terms is 0001, incoming terms it's EXW. Okay, just click on this. Okay, it is asking for location. Okay, if it is important, let's say it is important, so let me put this. Now I will just scroll down. Okay, I will further scroll down, and what I will show you is GR-based invoice verification. This needs to be check mark. Why is this? Because goods in invoice will be entered only if the goods are received. That is, first the goods will be received and then only the invoice will be entered. So to verify that, you need to have a check mark within the purchasing data, GR-based invoice verification, and then you need to click on save. Changes have been saved. The vendor has also been extended at the purchasing level now. Great. So that has also been done. Let's go back. So the vendor has been extended to purchasing level. And now the only thing is we need to create the material master, and that we will see it in our next class. Thank you.